This is the Pro Wrestling Report, PrimeTime TV, the longest-running pro wrestling news program in the world, with your hosts, David Hero and Damian Nelson.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report, PrimeTime Saturday night for Saturday, June 28th, 2014. Damian Nelson sitting here alongside David Hero. And welcome.
Seriously, again? 2 weeks in a row, no entrance? No intro?
Well, here's the thing. Until you apologize to me for welcoming and inviting Kenny Bolin to be on this show, you will be just David Hero. That guy. Just some other jabron walking down the street.
Jabron?
Jabron. E.
Okay, boss.
Let's get to this week's WWE report on what is a stacked edition of the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime. And this past Monday on Raw, Vicky Guerrero was fired, and she is indeed gone from WWE. But David, they did this very, very well with the tributes to Eddie Guerrero. Vicky coming out to the music, doing a little wiggle. She lies, she cheats, she steals. It was a matchup between her and Stephanie. She would lose and lose her place in WWE.
But she did lose to Stephanie McMahon, but Stephanie did wind up in the pudding mud? Is that what you want to call it?
Sorry?
Mud of pudding? There was something in there. Everybody wound up in that big thing of Jell-O. I'm just waiting for Bill Cosby to show up. But you know what? What a great run Vicky Guerrero has had.
Yeah.
9 years. WWE has definitely taken care of her financially, given her a job for 9 years after the death. And she got to leave on a high note.
And she may very well have been, over the course of her 9 years there, one of the people who has generated the most heat on a consistent basis. She was probably one of the biggest heels, if not the biggest heel at times, in WWE.
Oh, yeah. You just hated that scratchy, catty voice. It drove you nuts. And she did a great, for being married into the wrestling business, never really ever trained to be a performer, she did an absolutely tremendous job.
Now, is it possible that Vicky Guerrero has had the longest reign in recent history, or the longest tenure in recent history, without theme music? Has anyone else gone 9 years without ever having theme music? She never had it.
No, I think you're right. Yeah, she's the only one.
And that there just shows you how great she was, because music really is usually the catalyst for us to react as fans.
But who would have heard the music with all the booze?
True.
And the excuse me would have been so loud, it would have been all bad.
Vicky Guerrero, a good run in WWE, and
you're going to miss her, aren't you?
This was her choosing. Absolutely. I was a Vicky Guerrero fan, and now it's almost like all the general managers of SmackDown are leaving the company.
Eventually, you have to move on.
Well, speaking of moving on, the Shield is apparently no more, as we saw new looks for Dean Ambrose, saw a new look for Seth Rollins last week on SmackDown, and Roman Reigns obviously standing out away from them, even in the Money in the Bank matchup tomorrow night.
I was wrong about Seth Rollins. I was concerned that once the flak jacket comes off, he would look like a regular guy. And Seth Rollins is pretty well put together, good build, good look. He looks like a star. Not too sure if I get the pleather pants, but hey, whatever works, works.
How do you know they're not real leather?
Well, because it's a wrestling. You can't, there's no mobility.
You've wrestled a match in leather?
No, God, no. I would never try that. That's a different story.
I've never worn anything leather.
You had the little...
on my skin.
Oh, gotcha. But, Dean Ambrose, new look. But the only one that still has the Shield look is Roman Reigns. He still has the music and the entrance.
Shield worked, right? Not going to try something new with Roman Reigns.
Absolutely,
because it's important to continue his reign, if you will.
You got to keep that brand recognition. How about Seth Rollins calling Ambrose twitchy?
He is.
That to me was funny. It is. It's kind of annoying. I don't get it, but it works for him.
How about the ending of SmackDown last night with Roman Reigns, show going off the air with Roman Reigns standing tall in the center of the ring. Randy Orton lay there after a beatdown.
Hey, they want everyone to think and to believe that Roman Reigns is going to leave Money in the Bank as the WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
You said he would last week.
Well, he's one of the favorites. I don't know if he's going to be that guy.
So you're going to change it and be the booker coming up here tonight?
I said Bray Wyatt or Roman Reigns.
Oh, so you left yourself an out.
Of course, there's always an out.
Speaking of that Money in the Bank ladder match, Kane was added to the matchup this past Monday on Raw.
Well, he should be. He was promised the World Heavyweight title match.
He did make that point.
Yes, see?
So Kane being added to this matchup, what dynamic does it add? Now you have 7 people vying for the WWE Championship.
They've had 7 before. You need the veterans in that match because there's so many young talents that have never been in a Money in the Bank match before.
Well, they could have easily, instead of Kane, put Stardust in it. What did you think of Stardust? We heard him speak, or sing, if you will, this past Monday on Raw.
It's awkwardly uncomfortable for me. I mean, when Goldust seems to be the normal one of the two, seriously? Boy. Yeah.
Well,
I'm waiting for you to show up with a star face on you.
I don't paint my face.
Well, eventually you will.
Bad news, Barrett. He's a participant in the Money in the Bank ladder match as well. It appears as if during last night's SmackDown, he may have suffered a shoulder injury, which actually WWE did acknowledge and speak on. His status for tomorrow's matchup
what
is unknown.
What a shame, because this is what happened to Wade Barrett last time. He was knocked out with a shoulder injury. Mm-hmm. And Bad News Barrett had to be one of the favorites to win the briefcase MITB.
One of the favorites?
That match, absolutely.
You know, speaking of WWE champions and titles and things of that nature, David Hero, we've got some big news to share with our audience about next week's episode of Primetime here on My 24 Milwaukee.
Well, I didn't get that memo.
Of course you didn't, because you would have spoiled it. You would have sent it to the wrestling news websites.
I don't do that.
You sure you're not the mole?
It's Linda. She's the insider.
She's not even here this week. Is that what she's doing?
That's what, exactly.
Huh. Overall, this past Monday's WWE Raw, your thoughts, David Hero, especially given the fact that it was on a week where TNA had their first broadcast from New York's Manhattan Center, which was the better show.
No. They were still from...
Oh, they were taping, sorry.
No. They were out of...
Bethlehem,
Pennsylvania, which looked good on TV. Mm-hmm. Raw wasn't a strong go-home show, but they established the main event players.
Well, we'll talk about Money in the Bank, the ladder match, here later on this broadcast. Also, a huge interview announcement as to our guest next week.
I didn't get that memo.
Let's tease. We can hint. It is one of the
I can't hint anything.
It is one of the, you could tease. It is one of the 3 men, David Hero, one of the 3 men who kicked off WrestleMania 30 will be joining us here next week on Primetime. So that means it's either The Rock, it's either Stone Cold Steve Austin, or it is Hulk Hogan.
How did you pull that off?
Well, when you are the main event, which is what PWR Primetime is, you deliver main events. And we'll deliver a main event next week right here on this very broadcast. We'll tell you who it is after these messages, along with this week's hot news, DWHS, look back at TNA Impact Wrestling, and be the booker for WWE Money in the Bank on pay-per-view tomorrow night. All that coming up in just a few moments.
Follow us on Twitter for breaking news, live wrestling chat, and pure hilarity. Head over to twitter.com/PWR show and be part of the conversation.
No, I'm not going to tell you what it is. You'll find out with everybody else later.
But seriously, I am part of the show.
You're part of the show.
I can tweet stuff out.
You'll find out with everybody else later. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night here on My 24 Milwaukee. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero, and it's time to go into this week's TNA Impact Wrestling Report, David Hero. And there was champagne wishes and caviar dreams.
There was.
This past Thursday's Impact.
And they had the white party as well.
I'm sorry?
You had MVP, Bobby Lashley, and Kenny King come out.
What's white about them?
No, how like the tablecloth was all white and everything was set up real pretty and elegant. And they had the champagne and interrupted by Bobby Roode and Eric Young. Looks like Bobby Roode, babyface, going to be going after Bobby Lashley pretty soon.
So, celebration of Bobby Lashley's winning of the TNA World Impact Wrestling, how do you call it? Championship.
The TNA Impact World Wrestling Heavyweight Champion.
Which he won at Slammiversary last Sunday down in Dallas.
No, he did not. He won on Impact. Remember? We forgot about that.
Remember, I don't watch Impact. I watch NXT. That's what I've been assigned to by the staff here.
Yeah, I know. I was watching Impact last night.
So tell us about it. Kurt Angle's a brand new authority figure.
He is, and you know what? That's exactly what they need. They need a real American to handle TNA Impact Wrestling.
Was Kurt Angle at the white party?
No, he was not. He showed up at the end.
Did Dixie have a white party too?
No, she had a black party. She had the black tablecloth with her 2 bottles of champagne. She almost went through a table.
You have to point out that it's 2. Well, Bully Ray's been promising to put her through a table.
Well, he almost got there. I mean, Rockstar Spud took a big boot to the face again. Poor guy. That's your guy.
He's a bump machine.
He's a bump and feed kind of guy.
I'm with Spud.
Yes, you are.
I own the T-shirt.
Yeah, I know. It's fantastic. It's the only one that sold.
Because Bobby Lashley, you've endorsed him, not endorsed necessarily, but you said that he is a person who should be TNA World Heavyweight Champion.
Bobby Lashley has...
A couple weeks deep now.
People are going to criticize me on my size thing, but Bobby Lashley has the look of a champion.
He does. There's no doubt about it.
When he walks out, he's an imposing character.
He's a man who's headlined WrestleMania.
He did. He did headline WrestleMania. And, you know, he looks the part. It just, when he talks, it kind of kills it a little bit because you got this big jacked up dude and almost the Mike Tyson voice. But, you know, extremely talented. I think he's going to be the right guy to carry the belt in TNA through Bound for Glory, which...
Big announcement.
Holy
big news, ladies and gentlemen. I don't understand how it's all going to work. Ladies and gentlemen, David Hero.
TNA Impact Wrestling will present Bound for Glory on October 12th from Japan. How's it going to be live on pay-per-view? I mean, the TNA fans read all the stuff online anyhow.
And then we'll subsequently not order it.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess the partnership they have with Great Muta and his company over there, and you know what? I'm sure it's going to be a packed house. They will do a tremendous job.
But it's going to be
tickets.
Okay, the Japanese wrestling audience is very different, though, as far as the reaction to the in-ring competition.
Right, I agree, but I think that TNA will have very close to a sellout crowd in Tokyo.
They will, and they will sit there and they will clap.
We should
and they
go
will do
to
so very
that.
politely.
We
There's
should go
no
to
chance.
that.
No chance in heck.
I want to go to Japan. It would be fun.
You can, and you can go to
Can I use the corporate
Japan
Amex?
to see TNA Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory.
Yes.
Yes, just think about
I'll be
that.
bound for glory in Japan. That sounds weird.
Well,
Whoops.
a good business move, I think, by TNA. They're going to draw. They're going to do well. However, if this is their signature event, it's equivalent to, since they want to be like, it's equivalent to WWE taking WrestleMania to Japan.
Which will never happen.
Never. They barely go out of country to Toronto.
No. You know why it won't? You know why it won't happen? The exchange rate. For money. You want all the American dollars. You don't want to transfer all that money? Exchange rates? I don't think TNA thought about that.
That's this week's Impact Wrestling Report. Big show next week, I think, David Hero. Coming from New York, perhaps? Or is it 2 weeks from now?
No, it is New York.
They're their tapings this week. Some major things happening on those tapings in a good way. I hear the crowd was hot. I hear that some stars you are familiar with have returned that you haven't even seen in TNA
friends of ours
before.
will be there. Yes.
So some interesting television coming up from TNA over the course of the next few weeks. But let's find out who was the most interesting character on television this week, at least in this man's head.
Well,
this week's Diamond of the Week.
I don't think it was on television this week, but excuse me.
Stardust, that's a great choice.
Young sir, come in here, please. This week's Diamond of the Ring. Cal, come in here, please. You know it's his birthday today.
I do know that.
It is.
That's why I invited him to the studio. We had cake. And
he's 12 today.
ice cream. Hi, Cal.
He's even shaving. He has
nice shirt. That's
a
similar to your
mustache
Nelson
going.
family shirt.
But last week, Calapalooza, sold out crowd in Circle B.
Brodus Clay.
Brodus Clay,
Armando Estrada.
Shockwave the Robot, and Cal was a great sport. He wound up getting the cake in the face from Armando Alejandro Estrada.
Did you hit him back?
No.
You should have.
Yeah. So it was a great week of wrestling, but it is the little man's birthday. So this week's Robert Hack Diamond of the Ring, the place where they pay cash for gold, which we may have to take some of those rings in pretty soon to cover your birthday presents, is Cal Hero.
Wow.
Happy birthday, kiddo.
Thank you.
That could be your best choice yet.
Absolutely.
Well, folks, that is, coming up next, actually, on PrimeTime. You threw me off there a little bit, David.
Who's
went Bill O'Reilly.
Special interview?
Special interview?
Yeah.
We're going to announce that in the next segment.
Okay, I've been waiting.
Which one of the three men who opened WrestleMania will be joining us here on this program next week? That's the question you want answered?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who would you rather?
Well,
hot news. Hot news. The Event Center, TWHS, and Be the Booker all still to come here on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night. We'll be back in just a few moments.
Hey, Cal. Your old pal. Yeah. Mean Gene. I hear there's some big news on the horizon. 12? You mean already you're 12 years old? That's amazing. From me to you on June the 28th, happy birthday, brother.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, the insurance company may try to stop you from getting what's fair.
After my car wreck, the insurance company tried to stop me from getting what was fair. I called Gruber Law Offices.
Be careful. Call us right away.
They better be careful. Now I've got Gruber Law Offices.
Call us. Let us get started on your case right now.
They green-lighted my case and got me $100,000.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Call 276-6666.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report, primetime Saturday night here on My 24 Milwaukee. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero, and it is time for this week's Hot News, which is bringing you the top wrestling headlines from the week in around 2 minutes or less. WWE announced the release of another talent earlier this week. Josh Matthews, who's been with the company since 2002, was released from his contract.
You know, he showed up at the TNA Impact tapings in the Hammerstein Ballroom.
He did indeed.
Yes,
Good friends with a lot of people, including Evan Bourne, who was also there. Evan Bourne was at the Ring of Honor show.
You think Jeremy Barash would be nervous if Josh Matthews showed up on their TV?
Well, Josh Matthews was most recently noted for his work as the host of the pre- and post shows on the WWE Network. A good hand, Josh Matthews was.
Well, you know what? He was
WWE.
a Tough Enough one.
Yep.
He was one of the,
He's been on this very program, by the way.
Yes, he has. Back when it was XWF.
PWTorch.com is reporting that WWE Extreme Rules scored a total of 107,000 pay-per-view buys, 40,000 of those buys coming from North America. Now, while this is down 54% from last year's event, the decline is likely attributed to those who watched on the WWE Network. That's it for this week's Hot News, ladies and gentlemen. It's time now to go to the event center, and Linda is out, David Hero, so
She's the mole.
Get to do the honors.
Oh, I can't wait to see this.
Welcome to the PWR.
You better unbutton your top button if you're going to take Linda's spot.
The Event Center, as you know, is brought to you by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. And the Pro Wrestling Report is very pleased to be welcoming back Kevin Nash to Milwaukee, right here in our very own hometown in August for a special evening with Kevin Nash. This event's going to take place on Sunday, August 10th at the Miramar Theater located on Oakland Avenue, and the start time for the show is 7 o'clock p.m. Tickets are available now at blizzardbrawl.com, and all tickets include a post-show meet and greet with Big Sexy Kevin Nash. David Hero, you're bringing Great Lakes Championship Wrestling down to Six Flags Great America for Fourth Fest on July 4th, 5th, and 6th. 6 huge shows featuring Scotty 2 Hotty and GLCW champion Al Snow. Details of that event.
6 free wrestling shows?
6 free
You just got to get into the park?
Just got to get into the park. There's fireworks, all kinds of other things going on, in addition to all the greatness that is Six Flags Great America. All the details available right now at blizzardbrawl.com.
Fantastic.
Also, Ring of Honor Wrestling will be returning to Milwaukee's Turner Hall on August 22nd. You can go to ROHWrestling.com for all the details on that event. That's it for this week's Event Center, presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
There's one more event you forgot.
I didn't forget anything. I read right off the prompter.
The biggest birthday party of the year.
My birthday's not till November.
July 3rd. Thursday night, July 3rd, at Hooters. Al Snow, Scotty 2 Hotty, and myself are going to be celebrating decades of birthdays. You're going to be there. You have to. You're paying for it.
Are you saying this is a public party?
Yeah, to open to the public.
See how that ends.
Well, you got the open bar covered, you said.
I definitely did not say that. Let's do here, though, what you have to say for this week's DWHS. Take it away, David.
Impact Wrestling has just finished up a set of TV tapings in New York at the Hammerstein Ballroom. They have pulled out all the stops. They brought back the 6-sided ring, reunited Matt and Jeff Hardy, brought in the Great Muta, and several other spoiler-free surprises. What will make Impact look like a rock star show will be the wild New York crowd. Even though you pay to see the talent, sometimes the crowd makes the show. Let's hope that these tapings is exactly what Impact needs to get a jump start and have people talking about Thursday nights again. And with that, David Hero has spoken.
Well, folks, always interesting to hear your thoughts. Not really.
My thoughts are,
how do we even do that?
The spoken word is the Bible of pro wrestling.
Well, folks, next week, right here on this very program, we are pleased to share with you a very special guest who will be joining us with a very special interview. It'll be his first time appearing on this broadcast here on the Pro Wrestling Report on My 24 Milwaukee. And I told you earlier, it was one of 3 big names. One of the 3 men who opened WrestleMania 30, a legend in this business, the man who probably is attributed to the most successful run in wrestling in the last 30 years.
I'm here every week.
Former WWE champion, WWE Hall of Famer, The man who's headlined many a WrestleMania, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Special interview right here on this broadcast next week.
He's going to be on this show.
He will be on this show next week.
How did you pull that off?
Well, I've been talking to Steve for a while, and he's got some stuff he wants to talk about.
You're on a first-name basis with Steve?
He's got some stuff he wants to talk about, so we're going to welcome him on next week. So tell your friends, share the show, and make sure everybody knows Stone Cold Steve Austin right here on the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time next week.
You know what? Good job. Way to get him, kiddo.
We'll be back in just a moment with Be the Booker for Money in the Bank.
It's my segment.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time Saturday night. It is time for Be the Booker for tomorrow night's Money in the Bank pay-per-view special event. And what the heck is that?
It is back, baby. I found it.
It's in the way.
It's okay, but this is what it's all. This is what it's all about.
It is. I can't. That is in the way. You're not going to have that right there. It's the board is the main event. The show is about the board, not your trophy, not your silly green shirt, your silly jacket, your silly blue marker, or any of that.
You're silly. I hear voices.
Rowan Harper versus the Usos in tag team match. Rowan and Harper.
Rowan and Harper. Yes. This could be one of the greatest tag team matches we've seen in quite a while. Rowan and Harper have completely impressed me as of late. They are far better
Solid
than
job
I thought.
on Raw this past Monday.
Very good. And you know what? You got the Usos. Again, they have now given them their own theme music to separate them from Bray Wyatt, which is brilliant. That's important. Usos have been on one heck of a roll though lately. I mean, ever since WrestleMania, they've been rolling and rolling. But you know what? I really think Rowan and Harper need to leave Money in the Bank as the tag team champions.
Really?
I really do. I think it's important for their growth, and then let the baby faces, the Usos, chase them for a little bit.
Gets you more time out of it.
Absolutely.
All right, well, Divas Championship on the line, Naomi versus Paige.
Interesting match. You have one half of the Funkadactyls in Naomi, and then you have Paige, the youngest Divas champion of all time, 21 years old. They've really invested a lot into Paige.
That they have.
They've given her a lot of TV time. They even brought her out to the commentators table on Raw, where it was kind of a baptism by fire, a little bit awkward. You got to believe Cameron somehow is going to get involved in this and going to cost Naomi the match. Paige will retain. Paige should retain the Divas Championship.
And in one of the semi-main events, ladies and gentlemen, it's tag team action as Rybaxo goes up against Goldust and Stardust.
Yeah, one of the most...
Stardust, you know, a member of the Nelson family.
Yes.
And oh, by the way, major announcement, with Batista's absence, I have a pickup.
Oh, who are you picking up?
I'm going to pick up Goldust.
So now you got a tag team.
I have a tag team.
That's brilliant.
Goldust, welcome to the Nelson family, the symbol of excellence.
I don't think Goldie's going to be happy that he's on your team. He's a Super Friends kind of guy.
We're a family affair. It's called the Nelson family.
Super
I've got his brother. Now he's on. We're a family.
Okay. Well, your family's going to win because you can't invest all that new makeup into Stardust, have him get a whole new outfit, a whole new gimmick, get as much TV time. You know what? Maybe, imagine Goldust and Stardust going after the tag belts. How kabuki-ish would that be? I kind of like it.
Maybe that's our final destination.
Right. Well, no, that's TNA's gimmick. Stop it.
Big E versus Rusev. Two people who are on your little Mighty Mouse Club team.
They're both on Team Super Friends, the first place team, the winners. Rusev has been a stud. I'm a big Rusev guy. Big E, he's going to put up a heck of a fight, but Rusev is the guy. He's heavily invested.
Another Money in the Bank match has been added to this event. We talked about the championship matchup last week on Primetime. We'll get more into that in a moment. But first, the briefcase will be on the line. And the participants, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Rob Van Dam, Kofi Kingston, Bad News Barrett, perhaps, Jack Swagger, and Dolph Ziggler. An amazing list of talents in this matchup. Who, David Hero, should walk out of Money in the Bank tomorrow night in Boston with the briefcase?
You know, it's going to be interesting because we don't know if Bad News Barrett's going to be involved in the match or not. If he's involved, he's actually one of my favorites. I would like him to win. But it's going to come down to Rollins and Ambrose. They already shot the angle on Raw by getting Ambrose in the match. Rollins is the favorite. He's going to be backed by Triple H. Triple H says he's the heir apparent. He's the guy that's going to win. Ambrose is going to do everything imaginable to do that. But I believe Triple H will get involved, and Seth Rollins will get the briefcase.
Doesn't that make some sense?
It should, because if Rollins doesn't get the briefcase, then it sets everything back a little bit. You need to go forward by having Rollins with the briefcase.
Okay. All right.
You don't like that?
No, I like it. I just, obviously Kofi's in it. He's going to have great spots. Dolph Ziggler's in it. He's going to have great spots. Ambrose and Rollins are going to be fantastic. RVD is going to, be throwing things around. I'm looking for another option.
There isn't one. I just told you who's going to win.
Ziggler. Could.
No.
I mean, he's a member of the family.
Sure. But we need to talk about this match.
It is for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, ladies and gentlemen. We talked earlier about the participant added this past Monday. His name is Kane, but already in the matchup, Cesaro, Sheamus, Randy Orton, John Cena, Alberto Del Rio, Bray Wyatt, and Roman Reigns. And we also found out, David Hero, that Daniel Bryan will be appearing at Money in the Bank to make a statement.
Sure, and that's great, but this is the match we're paying to see, not to hear Daniel Bryan talk. Part of me,
there it is, folks.
Part of me thinks Sheamus could leave as the champion. Just out of the blue, something different. Crowd wouldn't expect it. Sheamus, the current U.S. champion, I think he could be a favorite to win. Of course, you got Bray Wyatt, you got Roman Reigns. John Cena's a favorite. Whenever things go bad, you always go back to your steady workhorse. That's John Cena. But do we really want to see John Cena against Daniel Bryan again at SummerSlam?
But we are going from Money in the Bank to SummerSlam, correct?
Well, no, there is a pay-per-view in July.
Okay.
But
we're on the road to SummerSlam.
We're on the road to SummerSlam.
I think that plays a factor.
Randy Orton could be a favorite also. See, once again, I really do. This is a chance for Triple H to hit the reset button and get his guys back where they belong. I think Randy Orton will win Money in the Bank, become the champ again. Then Triple H has the briefcase and the world championship in the Authority.
He's got the whole world in his hands.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
But Bray Wyatt, he could be a sleeper also.
What about Cesaro?
No, don't see it.
Means he'll win. What about Roman Reigns?
He's too obvious. He is the fan favorite, but they're not going to give it to him yet. He's not ready.
So he could get screwed in Orton's win.
Here's the thing. If Roman Reigns wins, that means he has Daniel Bryan. Who are the fans going to cheer for?
That's a good point. It's a very good point. Well, who will they cheer for, David?
Roman Reigns. More women will be cheering for Roman Reigns than Daniel Bryan.
Money in the Bank tomorrow night on pay-per-view, ladies and gentlemen. Follow along on Twitter, at Damian Nelson, at David Hero. And
oh, jeez. That was expensive.
At PWR Show as well. Next week, right here on this very broadcast, Stone Cold Steve Austin will be our guest, ladies and gentlemen. Until then, we will see you. In the meantime, Sunday night for our coverage for Money in the Bank, which is tomorrow. And next week, Stone Cold Steve Austin right here with us on Primetime. We'll see you then, folks.